Hi everyone, welcome to the workgroup serving benchmarking contributors meeting. Um, Today is May 29, 2025. Please add yourself to the attendees list. And if you have any items, let's start adding to the notes. We can start by going for milestone for V0.1. Okay, so these are the open ones. We closed a few. One I reopened, but we can go over these. I see like some of them already have PRs out. So this one, I think I reopened it because in the report we don't have the throughput metrics yet. Brendan, this would be good to add since you have been looking into it.
Yeah, I can take a look at that, at adding this.
Yeah, so right now we have the latency metrics and the input-output length. It would be good to have throughput reported in output tokens, input tokens, combined total tokens, and requests per second, right?
Can do that.
Yeah, we should have all the necessary data, right? It's just a matter of writing it to the report, I think. Cool, thank you. I think streaming support is assigned to you as well. I know you already had a change out. What is the latest update here, Brendan?
So I have the PR out for the config changes. It's basically just a small refactoring of the config so that you're only so that we restrict enabling streaming to only model servers that support streaming.
Yeah.
And then after that, there will be a follow-up PR that actually adds the actual report or the actual functionality for handling streaming requests.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, at this point, I think most of the model servers should support streaming. Yeah, as long as we make this an API option like we have here, should be good. People can decide if they want to run with it or not. Looks like Sachin had some question around calling it LLM model server client.
Yeah, I think this was a discussion around whether we want to be agnostic of the modality, calling it language models or separate. But I think we discussed this already. I'll need to take a look at this again after the new changes. So I'll do that later today.
Makes sense. Yeah, and like VLLM supports some of the has an option to do multimodal as well, right? So yeah, we want to be cognizant of that when we are naming things. But yeah, eventually, I think since we said the tool will be like a GenAI inference benchmarking tool, we might want to extend to other ones.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the VLLM for supporting multimodal is news to me, but again, yeah. And if anyone else has comments, yeah, feel free to jump in. This should be in a semi-reviewable state.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brendan. And yeah, if we need to prioritize between the two, I would say probably the throughput one would be good to add first. And then streaming support. Cool. Moving on to the next one. This is the container image change. I think Chen has a change out. Anything to update here, Chen?
Oh yeah, so I actually manually create the image already. You can pull the image from the repo link. I'm still exploring the options of upstream. So after I figure out there, and then we can switch the repo. And right now it's a workflow automatically build images for release, and for every PR merge is a tag. So after every PR merge, it will build image with the latest tag, with a corresponding commit tag. And then for release, it will build an image with a release tag.
Okay, makes sense. Thanks for adding this. And since it's in Quay, what username password does it use today? For the...
GitHub settings.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Makes sense. Do we need any other permissions if we need to create new images? Looks like it should just be automatically created, right?
Yeah, it will automatically create it.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
So I think only you, me, and Yuan can see the settings, right? Others cannot.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think Sachin is also in the maintainers list, but yeah, only the core is marked as admin on the Kubernetes org side. So yeah, not everyone will have access.
Yeah, but the image pool is completely public. So it's a public.
Okay. Makes sense.
Can you add some documentation around this, like how to cut a release and when a new image gets published, that sort of thing?
Yes, so actually you don't need to do anything. You just tag the release and push, and then everything is triggered. And your image will be the same as your tag.
Right. So okay. So for every tag, it will be published. Okay.
Yeah. So if you do git tag, a release tag, right? And then you do git push the release tag, and then everything you publish your release at the same time, it will build an image.
So when we have to release the 1.0, we would just basically cut a release and then automatically creates a tag and the image gets pushed.
Yeah, you just git tag, git push. That's all.
Yeah, just follow the usual process for cutting a release, right?
Yep.
And because we have actions configured, I think that should trigger it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I can review this right after the meeting and we can get this merged. Thanks for adding this, Chen. Cool. On to the next one, multi-process load generator. Jason.
Yeah, it's the early initial PR up. It has the bones of what the intention is. The original issue, I described moving like the collect functionality inside of the load generator. There was a little pushback to that, and so I was able to implement a new request data collector that's multi-process. So that collection happens now inside of the data collector instead of the load generator. But the basic overview here is that the load generator now has a separate path when the config specifies more than 0 num workers, and it uses multi-processing queues to queue requests at scheduled times. and then the workers pull off of that queue and execute the requests at the schedule time. And each worker is limited by a semaphore for the max concurrency that it can use. So for example, like the default is 100, but you could have 20 workers with max concurrency 1000, and those all pull off the queue. I have a couple of to-do items, but I've tested this pretty thoroughly at high QPS and multi-stage, etc., and it's in a pretty good spot. I'd say the major to-do items here, there's a couple of things to plumb back through to our client session, which would be like the max TCP connections allowed. And that's within the client. And then we need some logging and observability mechanisms added here for multiprocessing. And I have a couple other to-do comments, but early review of this, if anyone has time, would be great. I'll try and finalize whatever I can with this.
Jason, I have a question, which I posted in the chat as well. Do you know the limit single process can, or the max threshold of the QPS that a single process can achieve in your testing?
So I think what I've observed in testing previously is that a process will struggle to accurately hit QPS via async IO in a single process. So you'll see some slippage. When we see that pretty evidently at like 200 QPS or like 100 QPS, even a little bit of slippage to staying accurate with the previous load generator. And then with this multi-process load generator, it pretty accurately achieves the schedule time up to like 1000 to 2000 QPS, but that is the multi-process version.
Thank you, Jason.
And one question on that, Jason, like we have concurrent connections ongoing. So when we set the QPS, we are essentially going to translate that into how many requests each of the process should be handling per second. Is that how it works today?
So, I mean, the load generator just puts the items on the request queue at the schedule time. So, like the single process determines the QPS, right? And then the worker processes handle those, and there's no like explicit fan out. So no worker is assigned a request specifically. They're all free to pull from the queue.
Okay, so as long as the concurrency is set correctly, we should be able to pull it. So I'm trying to understand, like, can there be cases where we request a specific QPS, but since we have more workers, we could do more than the requested QPS, or less, obviously, if the workers are busy, right?
Yeah, it's one of the to-do items. So like, because we have a schedule time, we have pretty good observability into when the processes, the workers are unable to actually achieve that schedule time. We just need a better way to plumb that through and have observability on it.
A quick question, Jason. If let's say the system is unable to handle the requested QPS, are you, what is the mechanism to handle that? Are you giving some message to the user?
Yeah, that's anyone's opinion on the correct way to do this. I think my intention was to add to the report generation a section that is like observability onto, we already have like success and failure, but that should also say like what percent of requests were sent on time, and perhaps even the diff between the time sent and the schedule time.
Yeah, I like this approach, and happy to take a look at the PR.
Cool. Yeah, as long as we have observability into the desired QPS versus actual QPS, then it should be cool. One other question on the defaults here. How can we automate it based on what mission we are running on, right? Or by default, will we be maxing out what is possible? Right, or I mean, we don't have to handle that case right away, but it would be good to think about how we can set that, because like these numbers might be harder for someone to choose.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, by default, probably the TCP connections and therefore the worker max concurrency should be increased to about 1,000. So we're more likely to generically like saturate ephemeral ports. But I can take a look at that too.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, thanks for adding this. I think we should improve the scale that we are able to test things at.
My question on desired QPS and actual QPS. So are we talking about the number of requests we are sending to the benchmark tool? I mean, is that the QPS or the QPS that we are achieving? I mean, how many requests we are able to serve per second? What do we mean by QPS here?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. It's kind of the crux of the problem. We have like intent-based configuration on our benchmarking tool. So we can call that the requested QPS or the configured QPS. And then this is like the to-do item is that we do need observability into what the achieved QPS is and show if there's a diff between those two.
Yeah, and this is entirely on the request that we are sending, right? Our throughput metric will cover the QPS that the server is able to achieve in terms of like responses that it's able to produce, right? This one is from the tooling side itself, how many we can consistently hit in terms of sending the load itself.
I see. So input QPS, right?
Input QPS, yeah. So basically, I decide input QPS versus achieved input QPS is something we will measure as part of this. Output QPS or our actual throughput will be covered as part of the report generation.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
Okay, let's move down the board. Unit test. Anything to add on this, Sachin?
I was starting the test setup. I'm thinking I can create high-level tasks for each of the sort of packages we have, and then tackle them one by one. The reason I added it here was I was wondering if anyone knew of a GitHub action that could look at test coverage and enforce that on PRs. That's something we do on other projects. Any preference on what should be used here?
Yeah, I haven't set up any test coverage tool on GitHub itself, but you can see what people are using. Yeah, having like initial unit tests or something which can run the at least the mock load gen or something might be a good first start, so we can make sure like we exercise some of the functionality end to end. Yeah, but then ideally like we would need some sort of integration test too, where we bring up a server and we exercise the different load generators we have, and then check if the outputs look good.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say create issues for those. For now, let's add some basic test coverage. Yeah, that we can use to see if something's fundamentally broken.
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, so this is the item I have to add a documentation. So just waiting for the couple of open items to go in. I'll take it up tomorrow. We have like multiple features make it in recently, so it would be good to make sure the documentation is solid and covers everything. Next is report generation for multi-stage runs, especially Prometheus metrics.
So we have that in for the request lifecycle, like the request lifecycle metrics. I'm not sure where it's at for Prometheus metrics.
Right. I think I'm not sure how I can link the PR to this issue. Should I just mention the issue in the PR description and it will be here?
Yeah, mentioning's good.
Yeah, if you put a
Okay.
link in the PR description, I think that should
Perfect. I'll do that. Yeah.
cover this. Yeah, and I saw your PR on that. This one, right?
Right. 95. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this looks good overall. Yeah, it would be good to. So these are all the Prometheus metrics that are coming in per stage, right?
Correct.
Cool.
So one thing is Prometheus metrics won't be recorded for failures. So I have only populated successes in here. I followed the same convention as Brendan has done for request lifecycle.
Yeah.
So is it okay? I mean, does it look okay? Populating
Yeah,
only successes.
yeah, I think that looks good, right? And failures at the benchmarking client level, we need to measure how many requests failed. But for Prometheus metrics, I think just capturing the successful requests and and their corresponding metrics are good, right? Because mainly we want to get an idea of on the model server side what we are observing. So yeah, this looks good to me.
And I had a question on the precision as well. Like these floating point, I mean, these numbers don't look like good. Should we have a precision? Like, should we just limit it to 3, round off it to 3 points or something?
Yeah, since these are in seconds, right? Yeah, one option is to report like the per token metrics in milliseconds. The other one is like you said, like we can reduce it to like probably like 6. Yeah, 6 digits after the decimal point. So, but yeah, it would be good to have at a millisecond level. We don't want to cut it too short, right? Then you're not able to see the actual difference. Yeah, I think that makes sense. That we should probably do for all the metrics that we are reporting. Oh, yeah, thanks for sending this one out. I think I did a quick review of this. Overall, look good to me. If anyone has any other comments, please add it here. Yeah, let's try to get this merged today as well. Yeah, so we're looking good for multi-stage runs. Then this is something I had on generating shared prefix for random data generator, mainly to like benchmark prefix caching. Yeah, this one also I have a PR out. If someone has time, please take a look. Mainly what we are trying to do is like have different groups where we can have like matching system prompts, right? So this will be your prefix, and that will be shared across multiple prompts that we send. So if you have set up prefix caching, then you could kind of measure it with like 50% prefix match, 25% prefix match, and how that affects your latency and throughput metrics, right? Right now, I've added it as a separate data generator to keep it simple. So you can only specify like exact input and output length and how much the prefix match should be. But we can extend it to support different distributions in the future. But yeah, otherwise the logic should be somewhat simple, similar to the random data generator. This one basically generates random tokens from the model vocabulary and then generates prefix matches. So yeah, please take a look. Yeah, so something inference gateway folks were testing with. So it might be useful to for that. Yeah, and the last one is the this is the container image push that we already looked at. So yeah, overall I think we have pretty much coverage for most of the things that are here. Thanks everyone for picking it up. Yeah, we can try to get things merged today and tomorrow, and then cut it. Quickly going back to the nodes. Does anyone have any other topics to discuss before we wrap up? Cool. Yeah, one last thing I wanted to check. Does anyone want to volunteer to cut the release once we merge all the issues in the milestone?
I'd be happy
I'm
to pick
happy
that
to
up.
do that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Brendan. So yeah, once everything is done, yeah, let's sync in the Slack channel and then we can cut a release. Cool. Thanks for all the great work, everyone. We'll see you all next time. Thank you.
Thanks.